Hello, this is part 5 of the iRig series, and I did make a few modifications in your absence. I changed the eyelid color to be a little bit closer to her skin color, and I redid the eyebrows. I wasn't thrilled with them, and changed their color too, to match her hair a little bit better. I put in a radial gradient for the irises, so that you can't really tell, but it will give a little bit more definition to the green eyes. Now we need to set up the eyes folder. So double click here on your top level folder for the eyes and go into masking and choose hide all and click OK. Click on the lids, double click the layer settings, masking, and don't mask this layer and click OK. The brows, double click, masking, don't mask this layer, and click OK. Then for the iris and pupils, or whatever you named that one, double click on that folder, go to masking, and click on mask this layer. Click OK, and then to whites, double click, go to masking, and click on mask this layer, and click OK. And then for mask, double click, click on masking, and click on Add to Mask, and click OK. If you want to see what this has done, click on the folder for the iris and the pupils, and then choose your layer transform icon over here. And then click on it and drag, and you can see that the eyes are disappearing into the head, so to speak. Be sure that you do a Control-Z to get those eyes set back where they should start out at. Now to start setting up some bones, go to the top level of your character, the bone folder at the top, and highlight that, and click on the Add Bone tool. I'll hold down the Shift key so that when I click and pull upwards to make the bone, I get a nice straight bone. Okay, and when that's still highlighted, go up here to the main bone menu, and then choose Make Smart Bone Dial. And we'll name this one Lids. And so you see a couple things that happen. One is that bone gets the dark, thick red line, and the Actions panel pops up. And you see Lids and Lids 2. So to start out with, if you look down here in the timeline, you've got kind of a discolored timeline. That's because you're not in the main timeline anymore. You're just in the Lids timeline. And this is very important. If I grab the red scrub bar and move it over, and I'm going to go to the last keyframe created, what the default is for the bone dials is up to 100, and you'll see that it moved over to the left. All right, you see that? Okay. Now, Lids 2 is going to be from pointing straight up and down over to the right. So this is kind of like half of our action for this bone to pull it back and forth. And so from the center and down to the left, we're going to make the lids close. We'll now click on the lids layer. Okay, that's activating everything there in the layer, and you can see the points. So you click over here on the Transform Points tool. I'm going to zoom in, and remember that you want to make sure your red scrub bar was still on that frame 100. You want to see your bone laying over here. And then I'll click on the little point right here, and I will close the lid. Actually, let me leave it a little bit open there so that I can pull the bottom lid up and close it up there. And I can have a little gap because actually I did put a stroke line in finally where that filled in that little bit of a gap. And then I'll do this with the other lid. Same thing. And again, now I made adjustments to the angle of each one of these little points so that they looked correct when the eyelid closes. that it matched up with like where the eye was pointing towards, where it was focusing. And in the tutorial, I didn't pay much attention to that, so they may look a little bit off. But anyway, let's grab the red scrub bar and we'll see the result of what we did. Okay? Now I'm going to click back on the main timeline, which is called main line up here. Okay? We can test out this bone by going back to your top bone folder of your character and then go to your manipulate bones icon and click on that bone and pull. Nice, huh? And I'm going to click back over here to reset everything. Now we need to click on lids 2. I'm double clicking on lids 2, and that is going to activate. Pull the red scrub bar. I've got this actions panel in the way. Pulling the red scrub bar over, you can see, just as I explained, it now moved from pointing directly upwards to the right. So stopping at the frame 100 and going back to the lids layer, this time I'm going to pull them upwards a little bit, down a little bit this way, and make the surprised look where the eyelids actually open up just a little bit, grabbing on the transform points tool and pulling upwards. And this is going to be a little more subtle. This one too. And I think we probably could get away with pulling these out a little bit. Remember, you can always go back in and make adjustments as long as you go to the correct timeline when you do this. Now back to the main line. Double click here on the word main line. And let me move this out of the way. Click back up at the top level of the character. Choose manipulate bones. Grab this bone here for lids. Pull it. Watch the eyes close. And then to the right, and you'll see that little bit of opening for the surprised look. Okay? Now I want to make sure, I'm going to double click and make sure I am on that main line. I'm going to close actions just for a moment. And I'm going to go ahead and start the next in the series of the tutorials.